Alright guys, so we're here at the park with the Bebop 2 Power, and this is going to be the thorough flight test today. We're going to put it through 2 batteries and see everything we can do. We should be flying for possibly about an hour. So this is going to be a long one, just a forewarning that if you want to stick around, this might be a little bit long, but we're going to go through as much as possible. This is the PARROT official backpack. So that's what I'm using to carry this thing around, but let's unzip it, get it set up, and get flying and see how this thing does. Let's get started. Okay, so I just kind of want to time it now just to see what the setup time is. You know what I mean? If you guys were wondering, like how long it takes to set this thing up, this will be a good example. I did this in the PARROT Bebop original PARROT Bebop 2 review. Here's our 2 batteries. Here's the cable I'm going to use for the iPad. I'm just going to use 1 battery for now. Anyways, what I was saying is I did this in the original video for the first version of the Bebop 2. So if you want to check that out, go ahead and check that out in the description. I'll have that in there. But you see how I have this in here? The propellers can actually fit in this backpack if you just leave the propellers on. Of course, you're not going to want to check this through any kind of baggage because you might bend the propellers. Of course, take the propellers off if you're going through any kind of really heavy-duty knocking of the backpack. But just for carrying it around and setting it down gently, you can leave the propellers on here. And let's put on our battery. The first battery will go in there. Now, these are the higher capacity batteries. Everything looks good. Want to check the lens, make sure there's no smudging on the lens. And I haven't done a compass calibration, so I'm going to make sure I do that before we even get flying, which you should do, you know, with every flight you're doing in every different area, just to make sure. So we're plugging in our USB connection to the Sky Controller 2. We want to mount up our iPad 2, and this is a little sunshade I just got off of Amazon. I'll have the links in the description if you guys want to check it out. But really convenient. This fits the, you know, the 10-inch iPads. So I kind of bought this special. And then if you are going to use a iPad instead of a phone, you just push this thing down and you can just twist this and pull it back up and it locks in. So we can have that kind of side mounting here. So we're going to put the iPad in the sunshade like this. Okay. Of course, if you just guys want to skip to the flying, you can do so just by fast forwarding the video, but I like to go through this setup as well when I'm doing my flight tests, just so everybody knows, you know, what I think is the proper way to kind of do things. There we go. Just make sure the iPad's in there good and tight. Close that clamp up. Now we're plugging in our connector right into the side of the iPad. And this is a good little real-time example of just, you know, realistically how long this kind of stuff takes. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it's shorter, but there we go. So iPad's in, everything's on. So now I'm going to start up first the Bebop 2 Power. Just pushing it in once. You don't need to push and hold or anything. We're hearing some beeps. We'll let that thing boot up. So I'm using the launch pad so we can kind of see, you know, how close it lands in its return to home. So right immediately afterwards, we want to boot up the controller by just pressing the power once as well. And we're looking for that red light on the controller to turn green. So we'll let that do its thing while we go into our iPad. Okay, so recording the screen really easily. In the iOS 11, it has a little thing on the options menu where you can just go right in and record. And I want to look at my controller. It's green here, so I want to go right into the Free Flight Pro app. Awesome, there we go. First thing we want to do is we want to go into our compass calibrations and stuff. Let me see. All right, there we go. So I just tapped on the compass calibration. This screen's cool because this is where we can also find my drone. Let's just do that real quick. If we lose it, see this little bell up on the top of the screen? And you hear the drone beeping? So if you do find it, it shows you the last known position, and you press that little bell for a little beep on the drone so you can find it. Let's do our calibration. So we're going to calibrate the compass real quick. So I'm going to set this down a little bit of ways from it so we're not picking up that interference. Picking it off the ground and just doing kind of what it says on the screen. A little left yaw rotation. And then we're facing it, doing a front roll. Now you guys may have seen me do this in the house on the unboxing, but it's always good to do it when you're in the park, at least for one time without any interference around you. And that was it. So that thing's ready to fly. I'm going to put it right there in the center. I think what we also want to do is calibrate the controller compass. So we'll go out of here. We'll go into fly and film, just tapping on the big FPV picture. I'm going to go into options. Let's just calibrate again just to be sure. Calibrate magnetometer. It says it's calibrated, so I'm just going to spin it one more time just to make sure. It's always good to just do this. I just like to do this just to be sure. So that's basically our setup, guys. So if you want to check the time on when I first started opening the bag until now, that's kind of how long it takes you to get everything up and running, connected, and ready to fly after you do your calibrations. If you look over here on our little map on the bottom left, I'm clicking on that. We can see our Google Maps. We can zoom in and out. But this is so cool because we can see with that compass on the controller, we can see according to north which way, and according to the drone, which way our controller is facing and which way the front is. So it looks like it's perfectly calibrated. I'm seeing the front is the front there, and that's basically what we want to keep the drone in, that little red array triangle there. Great, so it's looking good. So let's go ahead and take off. We'll just do a on-screen takeoff. Now this is the very first time I've ever flown this thing, and I will tell you there's about 5-mile-per-hour winds coming from this direction, directly from these buildings over here. And so you saw when it launched, it got pushed away a little bit. So let's see what our height is. We're hovering at 3 feet is where it's going to launch. And this is all stock settings, so let's just see some of the stuff here, what it can do. Let me pick it up to eye level. I'm just pushing up on the throttle just a little bit. I know it's hard to see my hands because the tablet's right here, but I want to get like eye level, and I'm going to do a walk around. First we'll start recording on the screen. Okay, now this is recording in 1080p, 30 frames per second, which is the max of this drone. So coming around to the front, hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I probably should have worn a white shirt today because it's so hot, but I'm wearing a black shirt. Anyways, that's us there, and I'm just doing kind of a walk around just to see the stability from the H, not moving the right stick at all. It has moved, I can see, you know, about a foot from its home point. I'm not seeing how many GPS lock I have on the screen. All I can see is GPS is good because it's in green on the bottom right there. You see that? On the drone and the controller. So maybe I could have waited a couple more minutes just so it locked in a couple more GPS satellites. But that's it directly from launch. So already a couple feet away to the right. And let's go ahead and start doing some testing here. So here's full throttle up punch right now. So wow, so that's really slow in stock mode. And we can see how we're only moving at just maximum about maybe 4 feet per second, 3 to 4. So gosh, that's really slow in its stock form. Full descent, I have the full stick down now. I'll have the video up on the screen as well so you guys can see what's happening on the tablet and the drone. 3 to 4 feet per second down as well. I just let off the throttle. And there it is. Full pitch forward. Actually, let's do our yaw first. So full yaw to the right. Whoa, what's going on? This is so slow. Am I in super slow camera mode or something? That's full yaw. So I guess I want to just test this. This is all stock, keep in mind. And then I'm going to put it in sport mode and we'll see that. So that's our full yaw. It's almost like a tripod mode with DJI. Wow, super slow. I'll have all that up on the screen, video and everything. Let's try a full pitch forward right now. That's full pitch. I'm not touching the throttle. Whoa, okay, so I'm full yaw to the left. So it's kind of like we're in tripod mode. This is interesting. So they're giving it to you stock, almost like a tripod mode, not touching the throttle, just the yaw and the pitch. This is full pitch and full yaw to the left. And you can see how slow it is. How fast is it going? 11.5 feet per second on full stick. Full pitch back. Now I have not touched the altitude yet at all, just to bring it up towards my eyes in the beginning. Letting off. Okay. So that's the GPS locking it in. So very slow. Let's see what the roll's like. Should be about the same speed. 9, 10. Yep. 11. So it looks like 11 feet per second pitch and roll out of the box, and a very, very slow yaw. So really good for getting aerial video, but not very fun for sport flying at all. Okay. We should be able to change that by going into the settings. So I'm going to go into settings, and I'm going to go down to piloting, and I'm going to go sport. Of course I can change. Oh yeah, okay, so it's in video mode. That's why it was so slow. You see those two tabs. So I just switched to sport, and let's close this if I can see the screen. All right, back arrow's over there. Okay, so now we're in sport. You'll have seen the video up on the screen of what it looks like in video mode. So sport mode, let's see what our, wow, it's a lot quicker already. Yaw test, full yaw to the right again. And there's our yaw, a lot quicker. Nice. Let's do a punch test. So full punch up now. Let's see what our speed is. 17 feet per second. Nice. Much quicker, guys. A lot quicker. Cool. We're 79% power on the quad, 95 on the controller. Full stick down. Let's see how fast it's going to come down. 8 feet per second I saw it max out at. So 7 to 8. Just so you don't get too much jitter on the way down, I'll have the video up so you can see that, what it's doing. Letting off the stick now. So it looks like it immediately throttles off and then maybe drops about a foot just to get its bearings. And let's see how even the horizon is. So you see that line? That line on the park should be perfectly level. So it looks pretty good. Not bad at all for the horizon level. What I should have done is in the house, I did not calibrate for level on this. I should have put it on my concrete floor, perfectly level floor, and I should have went into that drone level calibration first, but I didn't do that. So maybe a little better if I go home and do that. Definitely don't want to do it here because this isn't perfectly level. Okay, so we know the yaw and the ascent and descent in sport mode with the default sport mode settings. Let's go up a little bit and let's go full pitch forward and see what our speed is. Full pitch forward now. Holy smokes. Yep, so it looks like this one may drive itself into the ground in sport mode too. So be careful with that. If you're gonna go into sport mode, go a little higher and be ready to push up on the throttle, because it looked like if I was to keep going, especially into the wind, it may have hit the ground. Full throttle forward. I'm gonna see how fast this thing will go with the wind. It's screaming. 46 feet per second maximum speed, 47 at a moment there. Turning around and still full stick forward. I'm just looking at the FPV screen. Look at the altitude, looking at the speed. So coming into the wind, it's between 5 and 10 now. 40 feet per second. And it did seem like it was maintaining its altitude pretty good, actually. Okay, bring it on back. Come on down. If you guys, I'm not sure if you've seen, I did a test with the original Bebop 2, and oh, looks like we got a lone bee there wanting to attack it. This place is known for having some bees. Is he gonna go away, or? Yeah, it looks like he went away. Okay. Sometimes I get swarms of bees on these things when I test. But what I was trying to say is I did a couple-mile flight off the North Maui coast over here in like 35-mile-per-hour winds on the original Bebop 2, not the black version, not the power version. And it did really well. Amazing. But here we are, video's still up on the screen, seeing what we can do here. So those are the two modes out of the box. So now what we'll do, go into some advanced settings. Now this thing has all kinds of follow me functions and circle around point. So let's just try some of those. Should we try some of those on this battery? Yeah, we still have 68% left. Or should we try a range test? You know what, let's just do a range test first, and then we'll save the next battery for all those advanced follow me functions. So here we go. So I'm gonna shoot for range over this golf course over here. Now keep in mind, this is like a residential area, but I'm gonna shoot for the least amount of homes and just go right over that golf course. So getting up above everything, full stick forward, sport mode. Let's see how far we can get. Okay. Looking over at my compass on the left there, seeing where my controller is compared to the drone. Okay. And I still have FPV signal and control. Distance is 1,000 feet. We're already dropping out video at about 1,000 feet, FYI. See how the video is getting pretty choppy. Still full stick forward, just going over this golf course. Oh, I haven't done the gimbal control. So left roller here. Probably not a good time to do it because I'm losing range. Okay. So about 1,400 feet. I'm like completely goners. See the screen there? So we're not connected. So I think by default it'll come back in 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds after it loses control. So we'll see what it does. We'll just wait here. I know I have a lot of power left, 63%. So we'll see what it does. What I should do is I'm going to change that. I like to usually have it about 10 seconds when it loses connection. I think by default it's 30. So let me just show you that real quick if I can while it's doing this. Piloting. We're in sport. Safety. Yeah, see return delay after disconnection. I'm going to bring this all the way down to like 10 just to be safe. So it should be coming back by now, hopefully. I really hope this thing comes back. I've never had a problem with the Bebop drones or the Parrot Disco with the return to home function. There we go. So we got video back and we're coming back home. As you can see on the bottom, there's a button for stop RTH. Okay, cool. So I can adjust my gimbal. Let me see if I can adjust my yaw. Okay, so as soon as I put some yaw in, it stopped its return to home, but I could adjust my gimbal if I wanted to. So keep that in mind. Okay, and if we wanted to continue return to home, we can either press this button down here on the controller, or we can press this return to home button on the top right that looks like a house as well. And you see how there's a green circle going around it, and it's returning to home. So it returns to home nose in, and we can adjust the gimbal only. Please be advised, if you move the sticks, it will stop the return to home. So if you're out far, do not touch the sticks if you go into a return to home, because you may wonder why it's not coming back. So that was 1,400 feet range test in a high interference power lines and residential Wi-Fi area. So not that great, but pretty much every drone I test around here does not have very good range. So this is a return to home test. Let's see where it lands. Whoa, coming down really quick. It went back up. So apparently maybe the optical sensors and the sonar on the bottom weren't working very well. That's kind of funny. So now it went up and it's just hovering there, waiting for a command. So, boy, not so great with the return to home, is it? Look at that. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 6, 7 feet. So it's just out of my tolerance, you know, for smart drones like this for their return to home delinquency. So a little bit disappointed on that, and also what the hell happened when it just came down and smashed into the ground. That was horrible. I guess it probably wouldn't do that in video mode because it would be going slower, but that's what it did here. Anyway, let's go back into video mode and let's try some of these advanced functions since you guys know the range in a residential area. If you're in the boonies with no interference, I can tell you right now, this thing will get like, I've gotten up to 3 miles almost across going just on the ocean. So it really depends on interference totally. Okay, let's turn the camera here so we have something a little better to look at instead of the sun there all washed out. Okay, so let's go back into flying film and let's go into our settings. Let's go back into piloting. Let's go into video mode. Now, of course, we can always pull everything up in this mode if we wanted to make it go faster. Lots of adjustment here. All right, so let's try some of these advanced functions. So I'm going to pull this thing back a little bit and go up a little bit. About right there. Tilt the camera down as a starting point. Let's see, can we tilt down? All right, what's up with my camera? Okay, so the camera is not pitching for some reason in this video mode. You see this? I'm holding the stick here, so we're gonna have to see what's going on there. I'm gonna go back into sport and see if we can do it. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, now we'll go back into regular video mode, video tab, back out. Should be able to pitch the camera, you would think, wouldn't you? There we go. So we're having some kind of glitch or malfunction for a minute there. I couldn't pitch the camera in video mode. So I want to be in video mode and I just kind of want to try these selfie functions. So we're clicking on the guy here and we can double tap or draw a rectangle. I'm going to try double tap. Tap, tap. It's looking at me and what's it doing? So I don't think it got that. So I'm going to try a rectangle. Let's just try a rectangle. Boom. Okay, now it's seeing me. All right, now let's see what it does. So it's tracking me. Is it tracking me? Okay, yes it is. Doesn't look like it's tracking me that well though, does it? Let's try this again. Can I adjust yaw? So no yaw adjustment while it's tracking. I'm gonna tap, double tap myself again. Let's draw this box around me in a better box here. There we go. Maybe a little bit bigger so it gets the entire person. Okay, let's try this. Maybe this will be a little better. Wow, really? Okay, guys. What's up with their object tracking? Oh boy. It found me again. Do I need to... It's... Okay. Well, let me turn sideways, see if it loses me again. Okay, now it kind of... Okay, it can see me. So apparently we're in just a stationary track. You see how it's not moving towards me? It's just the camera is pivoting and following me. Okay? So at any time, it looks like I can just press stop here. And that's gonna finish up that function there. So what I'm not seeing is any other modes for the tracking. I'm just seeing this pivot and follow mode. Let's see what else we can do here. I know there was supposed to be some other modes as well. Nope, that's the screen controls, that bottom button. Boy, sorry about that, guys. I thought there was going to be more options in here. This is the Free Flight 5.1. Perhaps I got to get an upgrade on this. That's probably what it is. I'm probably doing something wrong, but let's just try again. Let's see if we tap and hold. Okay, this is where we can do decentering. So you can kind of, if you don't want the object to be in the center, you can move, click and hold, move the box over. There we go. And see how it's now going to track kind of obscured to the object. So say you have the, who knows why you'd want to do that, but it does it. Okay, so thanks for bearing with me. I'm just trying to figure out what the heck is going on with these follow me functions. Let's try to click into the map here. Maybe we can do some more functions in the map. Okay. Wow, so that's the closest I can zoom in, really? Okay. Can't zoom in any closer than that. And let me see what we can do here. Oh, okay, so it goes immediately into like tap to fly mode. Let's see how I'm tapping on the map here. Let's go boom, boom. Okay, it's just maintaining its altitude and flying. Oh wow, and I can adjust the altitude on the fly with just this slider. See that? So it's just flying around pertaining to where I'm tapping. Come back overhead. That's interesting. Let's go back down to 7 meters. That's pretty cool. It's pretty on the fly. It's adjusting the altitude as it's flying to that point. So that's pretty neat. Okay. Let's hit this button here. Boom. That just centers us. And we can see where I am, the blue dot, which way the controller's facing, which doesn't look very accurate. It looks like it's a little too far to the left, that blue reticle. I'm pointing right at the drone, and the reticle looks a little bit skewed. So the compass doesn't seem like it's perfectly accurate in the controller. So it looks like you're going to want to maybe try that compass calibration in the controller a few times until it gets more accurate. Let's see here. Wow, don't want to do that one. I was going to go into the auto mission, but I don't want to go into that auto mission because that was my demo. So we'll have to wait for the other battery and we'll try auto mission. We are at 25% power. We're in super slow video mode. It seemed like it was flying a little faster when it was in a tap to fly. Let's see if that's the case. That was kind of interesting. Let's go back into the map and try this tap to fly again and see if it goes faster. Yeah, it's going faster than video mode. See if it turns faster too. Pressing the other way, yep. So it's like it kind of bypasses the video mode and it goes into a default speed for the tap to fly mode. So keep that in mind. Let's just get right over us here. Seems a little quicker. Battery is 21%. I'm assuming any second it's going to kind of go into a low voltage warning when it probably reaches around 20. All right, but that's all the basic functions. Tap on the video again and we have our video back. Comes right in really quick. That's nice. What's this one do up here? Oh, those are our modes. Okay, that's what it was. You see that little circle with the area up on the top right with the arrow? Those are more of our advanced modes. So let's try that again. We are 19%, but I think maybe we'll have a little bit of power left to do some of these functions. Let's go up a little bit, bring the camera down. Let's try like a point of interest or whatever. So we're gonna go boom and go back into the map, say like a point of interest. All right, there's rise, there's reveal, 360. Let's try a 360, what happens? So I just pressed on 360 and then it's giving me right or left. Let's just do a left 360. Pressed it and there it goes. Of course I'm pointed with the sun to my back, so that's not going to be a very good picture. So I'm doing a 360. Let's see if I give it some throttle, if it will keep doing a 360. Nope, it just canceled it out. Okay, so if you touch the buttons, it cancels it out. If you touch the controls, let's try another 360 to the right. So as soon as you press right, yeah, it starts recording really slow or turning really slow. Press back on the screen. Well, that's not a very good view, is it, of the grass? I can't adjust the gimbal while it's doing this. Okay, so to stop it, push in a little yaw, it'll stop. Get my gimbal up. That was pretty crappy 360 of just the grass, wasn't it? Let's try one more. Let's do another 360 right here. Boom. Right. So it's just doing a slow yaw, automatic yaw. And if you want like a panoramic, that's what it's doing. Cool. Okay, so that's our 360 function. I don't know what. Rise, reveal. Okay. So on the right here, we can see that there's a rise and there's a reveal. Let's press on reveal here. Reveal up to 98 feet. Should we try it? Let's try it. Boom, pressing it. Reveal to 98 feet. Where's it going? It's going that way. Okay, so what that's doing is it's going forward and it's slowly picking the camera up automatically. You see what it just did? And it did it for a 98 feet length. Or it's going 98 feet. Okay, I'm gonna take over here. And I can take over just by pushing the controls. So I'm giving it full yaw to the left and coming back over. Okay, we're only at 4% power and it's still up flying. Wow, it's not even trying to land yet. So let's try a quick little return to home. Boom. Oh, nope, I don't want to return to home right there. I guess if you're close enough, it'll just land if you hit that. So let's see if we go over here a ways. We're really draining this battery. Let me stop the recording just in case. Let me hit return to home again. Okay, so you want to get like 20 feet away from yourself before you do a return to home, otherwise it's just going to land within that 20 feet or so. 1% battery power left. It's just going to land. Okay, that's what it does at 1% battery power, guys. I'm trying to bring it back. Nope. It's just landing and turning off. And that's what it should do. You don't want to kill the battery too much. And I pretty much killed it a little too much. So let me pop in the next battery and let's play with some of these more advanced follow me functions, since I kind of figured those out, and see how it does. Okay guys, well, guess what? I've got 2 new batteries now because this is a different day. Fortunately, one of my, I think it was my hat cam actually, or the iPad, wasn't recording on the second battery. So this is a different day from the first flight. Pretty much the same time of day, same wind coming from this direction at about 5. So we're gonna track Sanaya. We got her on the bike here and we got a fresh new battery in here. We're gonna try some of the advanced tracking functions. So let's get started here. So we're gonna go into fly and film. And she's waiting for me to tell her what to do. Everything looks good. And let's take off again. So just taking off. Okay. That thing is just gonna hover there until we tell it what to do. So you notice these 2 things up at the top. We got the little man icon here that we tried before. And then we also have this little house over here. Whoops, that's the return to home. Let me stop that. My bad. There we go. Okay. This one right here, actually, to the top right, the little arrow with the stuff there. So you can see that we have all those things. And then if we have that on and go into tracking a person, what we need to do first is we need to actually draw a square around what we're going to track. So we're drawing one around Sanaya. You see how it's adjusting to keep tracking her? Yeah, so it seems to stop tracking the person when you do press on this play thing up here to give these tracking options. Okay, so this, I'm figuring this out with you guys as we go. So let me track her again. Okay, Sanaya, go ahead and go around me in a circle. Just a big circle right around here. Let's see how well it tracks you. Again, guys, I'm recording this on the screen. You know what I forgot to do is I forgot to start recording the camera. So let me see if I can start recording on the video. Yeah, actually it has been recording, hasn't it? Whoa, so you see how it almost lost track of her when it went through me. Okay, that's good, honey. Stop right there. Okay, so it's tracking her fairly well. I'm not sure what's going on with the box, but it's still around her and tracking her. Let's see if we throttle up. If it will, yeah, so it's auto tilting the camera down. I'm not doing anything with the camera. Go ahead and do that again, honey. Let's see if it's a little higher. Now let's see what happens if we start moving the drone as well. So I'm giving it to roll to the left. And check this out. So it's continuing to track her while I'm rolling to the left. Let's see if it loses track or what happens. Oh, okay, so it lost track of her. So that's kind of a limitation maybe in the sunlight. Go ahead and stop there, hon. So maybe in the sunlight you see how it lost track. So let me try that on me. Let me try to track myself. Oh, it doesn't know what it's doing. There, let's see if it got her again. Nope. Okay, so good to know, guys. When it's low light like this, the tracking may not work very well. So let me get a little bit better here where we're actually positioning the Bebop kind of behind her and with the sun to its back, so it's lighting her up a little better. And let's track her again. So drawing a square on her. Okay. Okay, go ahead, ride right around here, wherever you want. Let's see if it tracks you. So I'm gonna kind of push forward and see what happens while I'm pushing forward. Well, that's kind of cool. So I can move the drone anywhere I want and it will keep her tracked. See that? So that's a good feature, actually. Hopefully this is recording in 1080p so you guys can see what's up. So she's moving fairly fast and it is tracking her. Now try to turn to the left and go the other way, honey. While you're going one way, turn and go the other way. Do a circle. Like a fast turn. Go. You stand up and pedal so you can go faster if you need to. Okay, now turn right here and go the other way. Turn. Okay, doing fairly well. Even though we went into the sun, it's still tracking her. So it looks like close up like this, it's okay. Let's see what happens if we go a little higher and a little farther away. Keep going. Keep going. See if we go a little higher and a little further away, if it has any issues. Maybe like a downward shot. Still tracking pretty good. I'll have it up on the screen so you guys can see that. So it's a little weird because it looks like this square is in the wrong place, but it is still tracking her. So it's sensing her somehow and keeping her in view. So that's not bad at all. It's pretty good. She's not really perfectly centered anymore, but it's fairly well. I'm gonna go roll to the right. Okay, stay there, and I'm gonna just do an orbit. So I'm just rolling to the right. So this is like a manual orbit. I'm not touching the yaw at all. It's keeping her tracked. And you can see the speed here. We're going 12 feet per second. I'm gonna start going a little faster. 20 feet per second. And let's see how well the video is in this orbit and what we're doing here. I'm not touching anything except the right yaw. So you can get some pretty cool orbit shots. Let's see if we go even faster. I'm almost full pitch to the right now. Wow, that thing's got a pretty gnarly angle there. And it's still tracking her. I'm full pitch to the right. Whoa! Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Looked like it went out a little bit. I'm gonna come on back. Full pitch forward. Letting off. Wow, and it's still maintained tracking on her, so that's great. So pretty good for this Parrot. Not sure how it's going to be further away, but that's what this is about on this one. Actually, let's just do it. Let's go a little bit further back and up. So you can do these kind of your manual selfies if you want to. Let's try that again from this high. So it's thinking she's right there. I'm just going to go full pitch to the right. Yeah, not bad. A little bit more throttle, get a little higher. So anyway, I'll have that video up on the screen. So I'm throttling up and I'm just still full pitch to the hard right. And you'll see how the video quality is on that. Seems like this one, if it goes a little fast, the video gets a little less. I'm just pushing forward and it's automatically pitching down to her. That's pretty cool. Let's bring it on down. Full stick down, full throttle down. And I could have sworn this had more like orbit while moving automatic follow me functions, but I don't know where those are. Honestly, thought it would be easier than this to actually to use those. Anyway, I'm gonna come down again, kind of close to her, and it's still tracking her pretty well. I'm just gonna draw another box just so it's confident in tracking her. Okay, so she's moving. Go ahead, hon. Go ride. Go. Ride around me. Okay. So if you don't touch anything in the controls, it's just gonna hover there and it's just gonna track her. You see that? Let's see again how it goes through me and maintains track. Even maybe if I get in the way of her, let's see what happens. So yeah, so it has some type of recognition where it can differentiate distances. Let's see if she goes right under it. Wow, so it's tracking her pretty good. Not totally smooth. So now turn and go right underneath it. See what it does, how it handles that when she goes right underneath. Just pedal and go right underneath and go, keep going. Wow. Oh, okay, lost her. So that's a limitation because it's just visual tracking. The same thing will happen with DJI too, but DJI you can enable the backing up stuff, so it might be a little bit better at that type of thing. Anyway, let's try some more functions. Let's see if we can get a couple more tracking functions. Okay, so now I come right here. Okay. You're gonna back it up so this kind of sun's at her back. Oh, it relocked on. Oh, that was cool. You see that relock? So it remembered kind of what she looked like. Look at that, I didn't touch anything. And it relocked. Okay, try to ride a little bit more. Let's see if it's accurate at re-tracking the object that was tracking before. Go, 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 go. Pedal, pedal. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, just come back around here, hon. So it did lose tracking. It looked like it picked her back up, but it might have been kind of confused on exactly what to track. Thanks, honey. Okay, so we're just gonna... So I can't yaw when this is happening. I'm trying to yaw here with the stick, and it thinks it's locked onto that box. So what I'll need to do if that happens is press stop, and then yaw. Oh, that was recording stop, sorry. Okay, recording again. Stop down here. You see this big button on the very bottom of the screen? Stop. Then we'll go ahead and put it back on her, draw the box, and there she goes. So a little bit strange on why I can't do some of these advanced tracking functions. Maybe I have to be farther away to have like an orbit while she's moving and follow. I don't know. That's too bad. Maybe it was in the settings somewhere. Maybe I have to click and hold the person. Yeah. Let me see what we got to do here. Let me drag another box around here. Click and hold on the box. Okay, that's if you want to follow something at an off angle. You know what I mean? So you see how I put the box over there? So now it's going to actually turn and follow her at that kind of specific angle. So if something starts to go out of view, you can actually adjust it with this box and offset the follow angle if you wanted to. Really wanted to track her with some of these advanced functions and do like a track while she's moving and orbit while she's moving, but it looks like maybe you got to do those manual still. Could have sworn there was some functions on that. Well, this is cool down here. You see on the bottom left, I got a V in the green circle, and then if I press it, I have an S. So you can switch between video mode and sport mode right from that there, which is cool. So when you have the tracking, the image tracking on, the little person in the box, and you draw a box, up at the top right, this arrow with the little play button in the middle goes away, so you can't choose any of those other functions. So a little bit disappointing here. I could have sworn that it showed some advanced functions. When I do turn off the little person with the box around them, and then I go into these advanced functions, you know, I can get the functions, but there are only these 4 functions here: the 360, the epic, the rise, and the reveal. Anyway, let's just track Sanaya a little bit more. Let's have her go around, ride a little bit more around, and see if we can manually kind of get some good shots of her. All right, honey, why don't you go as far as you want, and I'll just try to follow you. Just don't go really close to any trees, okay? Go for it. Try to go fast if you can. Okay, so it looks like I am gonna have to push forward, and all I need to do is push forward on the stick. You know what I mean? Don't really need to be pushing the yaw at all, so I can just push the right stick, forward roll left and right, and I can give it some altitude if I want. And it's auto pitching the camera down. Go a little bit closer to her, and then let's just do a manual orbit from right here while she's riding. So I'm just rolling to the left. That's kind of cool. So you can still get some good shots, and the camera's going to auto track, but I still need to move the quad around with my right thumbstick. I don't need to move anything with the left thumbstick unless I want to adjust my altitude. So it definitely does make it a lot easier to track things. That's as far as you want to go? Okay. Let's see what happens if I fly directly over her. If it will turn or what it'll do. Oh, it tried to kind of almost turn. Okay, so we found another little limitation where stuff directly underneath won't track, but look at that. When I backed away, it did find her again. And I'm just rolling to the left, and it is orbiting her. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Let's see if we can lose track by orbiting just super quick. Wow, this is a fast orbit and it's still in track. Well, that's good. What it does look like is it'll start pulling away from the target. So I'm actually full pitch up and to the left. Oh, there, it just lost track. Saw that? Lost track and it just started to veer off. So I had to take over control with my yaw. All right, but it did find her again. Now I'm just rolling again and she is tracked. So it does have memory tracking. It does remember, kind of like DJI does, where it will re-track the subject if it disappears. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what happens if we press return to home while we're tracking her. So what return home just did is it basically just canceled the image tracking. You see that there? So if we wanted to return home, we have to press it again. And it'll go ahead and do a return home. Let's see how accurate it is this time. Even though it's a different day and I haven't done any calibrations again, let's just see how accurate it lands from where it launched. And keep in mind we can adjust the camera when it is returning home. That's good. Let's see where it lands. Whoa, okay. So it looks like maybe it's a lighting thing or something. That could be a little bit dangerous. So did you see that, where it just was coming down too quickly and it actually tapped the grass? It's like the sensors weren't registering fast enough where the ground was. So maybe it's just a defect with this one, or maybe that's how all these are. But you remember the first time it did that, the second time it was fine, and then this is the third time it's having that problem again. So keep an eye on this one when it is coming home. You definitely don't want to just turn around and start talking to somebody when it's coming down, because it might come down and hit somebody. But by default, it looks like it is supposed to just hover there, you know, right above the ground until you tell it to land or whatever you want to do. So we'll just bring it in down for a landing, and we'll go and we'll do our pros and cons. So I'm just pulling down on the stick, so I'm getting it like right over where I want to land, and then it will kind of stop, and I have to hold the stick down. Let's see if I can cancel the landing if I hold the stick down until it lands. Oh, it's not even landing this time. Okay. Let's try that again. Pulling the stick all the way down. Okay, so you can cancel the landing, but it seems like it won't land unless it's like right there. Holding the stick down. So maybe a little funny with the landing. I don't know, maybe my vision sensors are, you know, and optical and acoustic sensors are a little bit off on this one for landing. That's kind of weird. So I guess what I'll have to do then, just get right over my landing point, and then I can either press landing on the screen, or I'm just going to press this button right here on the controller, and that'll land it. So those are your options. I could have sworn that the first time I did it, I just held the stick down and it eventually landed, but I guess that's a good thing if it just hovers and it needs some kind of button to press. I do want to test out those goggles, so I'll record the phone screen while I have the goggles on in the next one, and we'll do like maybe a range test with the goggles on or something. So turning this thing off, just one press should turn it off. No press and hold or anything like that. It just kind of blinks a bunch of times and then it turns off. With the controller, you actually do have to hold it for a sec. Okay, so what can we say about the Parrot Bebop 2 Power? Not a whole lot of difference with the Parrot Bebop 2. They did definitely work on the app a lot. They made more functions with the application. You can see that it did have those image tracking functions. A little bit disappointed. I don't know if I did something wrong or why it wasn't working, but there was none of those actual follow functions. There was a track and sit still until you move the right stick, and the camera in the drone would still turn and track the object, but you had to move that right stick. I could have sworn I saw like some tornado functions and some selfie functions and some actual follow functions, but I couldn't figure out how to use those. This is a GPS tablet, and I didn't see any GPS tracking, you know, for the tablet, like where the option was for that easily in the screen. So maybe something they want to work on, or maybe it's not even available yet. Maybe it's just in development and they still need to work on those actual follow functions. Or I don't have the function, the actual app that'll do it. I could have sworn that I bought the full application, but if I did miss it, guys, sorry about that. If I research it some more and I find that I did not download the extra application that allows you to follow, which may have been what happened, I'll go ahead and do that and make a separate review just of following stuff and objects. But that's basically how it works out of the box. Maybe if you don't buy that follow me function, the image tracking did work fairly well. Actually, a little bit better than I thought it would, especially with the sun kind of low in the horizon here and just a big field of grass. It actually did fairly well. And I could go high speed and just circle her and track her, and she could be moving while I was doing that. So if you've got a little bit of manual skills, it definitely takes the difficulty out of tracking an object if you're trying to get some film. Some of the functions on the app, like the advanced, you know, just predetermined functions to get like aerial video, you know, the one where it would like spin around was simple, or just give you a panoramic. Those work fairly well. I think it was called the Epic one. I don't know, not really that great of a function. Basically, it seemed to me like wherever you pointed the camera, you just press the button and it would just go back for who knows how long. So not really too interesting to me. Some of the other ones where it would kind of start moving and then pan up, that was pretty useful. I could see that being useful if you're trying to make movies and just have like a slow reveal or something like that. So stuff like that was pretty interesting. Well, I've had the pictures and the videos up on the screen so you guys could see, you know, what was going on while I was doing it, how good the video was, how fuzzy it was, how much jello there was, and also how the quality of the pictures were. So getting into a couple of the cons, I don't know what's going on with the ground tracking. it's either having difficulty in grass, or maybe there's something wrong with mine, because remember that it just came down, returned to home, boom, hit the ground. It's like, what the heck is going on? Seems like you definitely want to have a little more safety on that aspect. So something was messing it up, either the grass or some of these sensors are just messed up. But phenomenally long, pretty good long flight time. I'm assuming it was right around 27 minutes of flight time. The Bebop 2 was about 23 with the smaller batteries, so significantly quite a bit more flight time. 4 minutes is a pretty good improvement. I will have that flight time pop up on the screen just to tell you exactly how accurate I am on that, just so you can compare, but I believe it's right around 27 minutes. I do like how they improved the application. Like now you have a video mode and a sport mode, and then you can adjust the sliders in each one to really tune it down to how you want to take your footage, and also how you want to control it. Keep in mind with this one, you're not going to really get very good video unless you put it in that video mode. And did you see how slow it was moving? So wind and speed really influences this digital stabilization of this camera. You know, so something that's not going to be quite as good as like the DJI products that actually have a mechanical gimbal and mechanical stabilization. Keep in mind this only does 1080p at 30 frames per second maximum. So you're not going to get that 4K with some of the newer drones. So hopefully Parrot can kind of start to revamp their camera. They've had this camera around for a couple years now, and it's kind of the same camera. They just kind of refresh the application, have a different color and a larger battery, and of course the new controller and the goggles. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that review of the Parrot Bebop 2 Power. And again, Sanaya, thanks so much for the help. Give me a high five. Well, hello, and I'll see you guys in the next flight test. I think we're gonna slap the goggles on for that next one. I'll record the screen on my phone when I have the goggles on. The phone goes in the goggles, so you'll see that. And also I'm gonna try to get some of those follow me functions to work. I think I just needed an extra add-on to the app, but I could have sworn I had everything installed I needed. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, I'll have the links in the description to what I'm using here, this guy too, and what the specs are and the pricing for you. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.